Hi, and welcome to the Soulful Deep Dive with myself, Ella Vida, professional singer, songwriter, intuitive channeler of healing songs, and creator of quantum singing. I'm also a quantum hypnotherapist, meditation, and ceremonial sound guide. Today's episode, which is our first episode of the podcast, is quite a tender subject, and it wasn't originally one that I thought I'd be starting my rather usually cheerful podcast with, but I felt like I really wanted to open up the conversation to the rare and undiscussed subject of grief. I've been quiet for a little while on social media for the last month due to experiencing a lot of loss in my life. Between myself and my husband, we have lost 6 or 7 people this month. And so, whilst moving through these losses, I haven't been as active on social media as usual. Obviously, I've still seen my regular clients and had to take a lot of time off for funerals and traveling up and down the country, as we've had to say goodbye to a lot of people that we loved very deeply. Some of those have been family members. So, starting with my uncle at the end of August, beginning of September, followed by my brother in law. And so I decided to release a song that I wrote a couple of years ago to dedicate the song to them, as it's been recently mixed and mastered. Before I could do this, then what followed is a loss of 2 friends, or 2 of my personal friends, and my husband's friend, and then quickly followed by losing my grandfather, who I was very, very close to. And on top of that, also, my close friend's sister tragically died on the same day as my grandfather. So I feel like with all of these losses, and also the collective grief that we have all been experiencing at the moment because of what's been happening with the genocide in Gaza, and all of you that may have lost people recently as well, or not even recently, but maybe you're processing grief at this time and you don't know who to talk to or to be able to understand your emotions and what you're experiencing. Or maybe you are holding space for a loved one going through grief and understanding and meeting you with compassion that this can be a very, very difficult time. So I wanted to open up the conversation for this to give you a chance to voice how you feel, or maybe just take some comfort in listening to this podcast today, which is completely unscripted. I'm just going to literally talk about what comes out, because grief isn't linear for all of us. It's just so different. And even the steps are different. There's the 5 stages of grief, which are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. But the truth is that we don't follow this neat path some of the time. Sometimes we can flip from one to the other. Sometimes we might miss a few stages altogether. And there isn't just one right way to experience grief. It's different for different people. So, first of all, I just wanted to meet anyone who is going through grief at the moment with love and compassion. And also, if you are experiencing grief at the moment, having the hope that you will begin to feel better. it the grief won't leave you forever. It will leave and it will come and go in waves, but you will begin to feel better in time. But I think it's really important to allow yourself to be able to sit with the grief, because especially if you're English, we have this very kind of stoic, keep calm and carry on, get over yourself, not supposed to have emotions, and thinking, oh, well, we just get on with it. Life happens. No one gets out of here alive, rah, rah, rah. And yes, we don't get out of here alive. Every single one of us has our time. We don't know how long we have. And so it does always remind us of the importance to live every day to the full and to really appreciate and be grateful for what we do have, and even those experiences that we've shared with the people that we've lost, and also enjoying the experiences we have with people around us. And that can be quite difficult to do in grief too, because sometimes we feel guilty if we suddenly bring a bit of joy or laughter into our lives because we are grieving. But please don't forget that this does come in waves. One moment you'll be feeling despair or upset or pain and absolute awful sadness. And the next moment, you may feel a little bit of joy. You may have a nice memory. And that's okay. That's good. And so is feeling the grief. That is good too, because it is a process and it's showing that you care. It's showing that that loved one meant so much to you and to other people and impacted your life. And this is the whole reason why we're here, to experience each other for our soul's growth and learn these lessons. And one of these lessons is grief. So it's something that touches everyone, and people deal with it in different ways. So you may deal with it in one way, and it's really important not to be judgmental, because somebody else might be dealing with it in a totally different way. You might just be getting on with it and organizing a funeral, and say your brother or sister might be in complete despair and unable to talk. And that's not wrong. And neither is your way of dealing with grief, but you'll be going through different stages at different times. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. Um, there are some things that I might say in this podcast which may resonate with you and help you. And there are some things that you might think, you know what, I'm really not up for that right now, or I completely disagree with you, or I can't see where you're coming from into respect to a few things that I might share today. And that's absolutely fine too. As I say, grief is different for everyone. And also be mindful that the stages that you're going through are different. So what doesn't resonate with you today, you may come back and listen to in a few weeks, months, or even years' time, and realize that actually, yes, that does make much more sense now, and that does resonate with me now. So just take whatever you want to get out of this podcast, take from that, and you can discard all the rest of the things now if it just doesn't feel applicable to you, because it's not a one size fits all. There are so many emotions that we can go through just in one day, and that's okay. There is no right or wrong way. For me, grief has felt like waves. It comes in waves. Sometimes it's crashing, sometimes it's calm, sometimes it carries tears, sometimes it carries joy, with the memories and gratitude that I have for the people that have left us. So in essence, I think grief is love with nowhere physical to go. So it reshapes itself. It reshapes itself into our memories, into presence, into ways that we can continue to carry our loved ones with us in our hearts, in our memory, and in gratitude for the times that we did spend together. Sometimes if you wanted to do a ceremony to help as well, if you're into ceremonies, you may want to write down things that you want to let go of, any pain, any regrets, any of the bargaining side of things, because we do think some rather unusual thoughts when we're going through grief, and it's part of the process sometimes. But we may want to write down things that we want to let go of, any regrets, last things that we said, all of those kind of things that maybe we didn't say or didn't do with that person, because they know and they hold us dear in their hearts as we hold them in ours. So sometimes it's nice to write those things down on a bit of paper and then say that I let you go, and then burn that piece of paper safely, or you may want to tear it up and pop it in the water if you're near a river or a stream. So that's one way of letting go of things. And then maybe writing after that the gratitude and the love that you hold, the memories that you hold. This can be really cathartic. But as I say, sometimes you might not be at that stage of grief right now. You might be going through an anger stage or a frustrating stage, where it can be hard to do these kind of ceremonial things. So again, it's whatever resonates with you and where these words land with you in the present moment. What I have learned is that grief doesn't necessarily end, but it does become easier as it transforms. It changes the texture, but it remains part of us. Sometimes anniversaries, birthdays, a certain song that comes on the radio, things like that, memories, reminders, smells can sometimes bring all of those memories back. But sometimes these can be medicine too, especially music and channeling any feelings you have through art. If you do any art or music, this can really help too. And it certainly helps me, which is why I wrote the song that I'll be releasing, which is called I Will Be With You, in the first place, really. The other thing I wanted to talk about is holding space for others, because holding space for others, even if we're not going through the grief ourselves, can also feel really uncomfortable, really difficult, or it may bring up memories for us of when we lost the loved ones that they've lost. But it's really important to remember when you are supporting someone that's grieving, is the most important thing is to hold space. Holding space is as simple as just being in the room with that person. It's not about the words you use or the hugs you give, even, although they can be greatly received too. But it's more about that person not being on their own and knowing that you can hold the space for them for anything that comes up safely. They can bring up any sadness, any tears, anything that they want to talk about that loved one, any, even things like any regrets or any happy memories, or maybe they might not even want to talk about it at all. Maybe they just want to sit and be silent and sad, but not be on their own. And I think what's really important is to remember that you are not there to fix them. And as a person grieving, you don't want someone to come in and try and fix them and try and cheer you up. Or sometimes that there's certain conversations that I think you have to be really mindful of as well. I mean, generally, when we empathize with someone, sometimes we think about how we may have had that experience. So, for example, if someone's grieving because they've lost their father and you've lost your father, which again can trigger some things up in you, you might want to talk to them about your experience of when you lost your father and the things that helped you. And sometimes those conversations can be just what that person wants to hear. And sometimes it's really not what they want to hear, because they may feel like, I'm so overwhelmed with the grief of what I have for my father. I don't want to really hear about the loss of your father because right now I can't deal with your emotions on top of mine. So sometimes they might be feeling that. Sometimes it might be nice to know that they're not the only person going through it. So I think asking the right questions, sussing out the situation gently, maybe just saying a couple of things and just seeing how they're received rather than going on a big rant about how the experience affected you. So I think it's just really good to be mindful about holding space, not fixing, not talking too much about your own experiences unless they're really welcomed, and just literally holding space. Self-compassion is vital for those who are going through grief. So I think just reminding them to be gentle on themselves, to not do too much, remembering they don't have to do too much, taking some of the weight off them, doing the washing up, picking up the kids, just taking things off their plate because they may not be feeling great, they might be, sometimes it makes us feel so tired and so numb or irritable, and you don't know what to do with those emotions or those words. Sometimes people try to help by being overly understanding and really sympathetic and almost trying to force the tears out of you. And I don't really feel that that's a great thing to do either. It's not good to try and force someone's grief out of them either, just because that worked for you. It really is that person's own journey and process, and all you can really do is hold their hand through the process so that that person knows that you're there for them. The people who love you will hold space for you in the way that you need. And if you're going through grief, of course, just meet yourself with so much tender care and so much compassion, and sending lots and lots of tender care and compassion to you if you are going through grief at the moment. And it's one of the nicest ways to do that is to imagine yourself in a really, really safe place. So you may want to close your eyes and take some nice deep breaths in wherever you are. Imagining yourself in a really beautiful, safe space in nature. So if you feel like you just need a little bit of time, we can go into meditation together now, doing this, closing your eyes, taking some deep breaths, reminding yourself that everything you feel is valid. You don't have to be anything to anyone. Remembering you're not alone in your loss. Giving yourself permission to feel whatever comes up is essential for the healing process. And as you take yourself off to somewhere in nature that you feel really safe, just placing your hand on your heart, maybe even rubbing your heart, and just meeting yourself with so much compassion and saying, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. And concentrating on your breath, maybe the sounds that you can hear in nature, the wind blowing through the trees, a babbling brook, or the seas. You may want to bring up a feeling of gratitude, a beautiful memory from someone, either the person you've lost who you love, or maybe someone who's still with you that you love. It can be a person, or it can be an animal, or a memory. And bringing that into your heart space. And let it make you smile. It's okay to smile. It doesn't mean that you're not feeling grief and sorrow, but just meet yourself with this compassion now. And just begin to feel this beautiful memory, person, animal, this feeling of love deep in your heart. And imagine giving that beautiful, loving feeling a colour. And creating a beautiful ball of light with this colour in your heart. And on your next in-breath, as you breathe in, imagine this ball of light in this beautiful colour begin to expand out from your heart into your body, healing every part of your body, softening your muscles. Maybe now expanding from your heart out of your body into the room as you create a beautiful protective aura around you. A beautiful round bubble of light all around you, comforting you, protecting you, showing the colours of compassion, of love. On every breath, breathing that colour from the bubble into your body, out of your body into the bubble on every inhale and exhale. Beginning to feel fully grounded as you take your attention to your feet and noticing the connection with the ground through your feet. Feeling fully supported by Mother Nature. And remembering that you can give to the earth all of your worries, all your woes, all your grief. You can imagine almost like having little holes in the soles of your feet where you can just drain all of that worry or sorrow or grief out, down the body, down into the ground. As Mother Nature transmutes it, Mama Gaia transmutes that grief, turns it back into life, the circle of life. And watching it grow new roots, maybe even bringing those new roots of newness up through the body. Whatever feels right for you at the time is right for you at this time. Bringing in all of the love from Mother Earth through your feet, up into the body. Giving that love a colour. Maybe it's the same colour, maybe it's a different colour. Spreading that through your body and out into your protective bubble. Feeling completely held and nurtured. Remembering that you're not alone. And you have all the strength and the support from Mother Nature, from source energy, from everything and everyone around you. And remembering the gratitude of that, how lucky you are to have that. Feeling this love and this safety as your divine birthright. Loved ones past would not want you to feel sad or to feel grief. And although it's important to process this in your own ways through these stages, but also remember to live how they would want you to live and how you want to live. You may begin to look at the earth around you, the nature around you in a different way, feeling grateful to be here to experience it and worthy of experiencing it as your divine birthright. As you begin to step into a new normal, meeting yourself with compassion, giving yourself time and space. Remembering that you can come here whenever you like. This is your safe space. But for now, just beginning to wiggle your toes and your hands, remembering the room around you where you are, but bringing back this sense of compassion and safety and love with you, giving the instruction to keep this beautiful bubble of protection around you at all times to help you through this time. You may want to rub your hands together and just place them over your eyes as you slowly come back, feeling relaxed and calm and awake. And I'd like to share the song I wrote with you now. I released it today, so it will be available on streaming services, possibly today, but definitely over the next few days. This song carries remembrance and love and reminds us that our loved ones are always with us in every flower, in every bird song. Even though they may not be with us physically, they are always around us. They have returned to peace, returned to source energy and the collective consciousness, one consciousness that we are. And they are always with you. Their presence shifts, but they never truly leave us. Their love is carried in our hearts and our memories, and in the ways we live and love because of them. My hope is that this song helps to bring you compassion to meet yourself with love. And I'm just going to share that with you right now. This is called I Will Be With You. This song is dedicated to my Uncle Clive, my brother-in-law Terry, Jocelyn, Ian, Anna, Grandad Bill, and Lucine. To all the children in Gaza, to all of you who have lost this month or at any time, I hope you find peace and solace in this song. Thank you so much for being here, if you're still here, and thank you for taking this time today. And I promise my next podcast will probably be a little bit lighter. But also remember to be gentle on yourself, be kind to yourself. And remember, you don't always have to have a mask and pretend that everything's okay when it's not. Big love, blessings and peace to you all. See you next time.